and meditating and pondering on the ways of the world today. Thinking of my people Africa and the state of the continent today. How mothers fed their children today. As granny goes down on her knees every day and prays. How many souls are dying from causes that could be prevented? If we did have leaders who cared for us today. Oh, 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 oh. Zion and Yahweh. Zion away. Zion away. Africa rise, young. Every 4 years, the politicians say he's your servant today. After you vote for them, they metamorphose into your masters. I say, have your say, we'll have our way. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Not no strange, it's cow demon crosses. Meanwhile, souls are dying from causes that could be prevented. If we did have leaders who cared for us today. Oh, oh, oh. Zion and Yahweh. Away from your slumber. Zion away. Away from your sleep. Zion away. Never ever quit, just a little bit longer. Victory is near, they're gonna disappear, go under. Leaders them no care, never tend to share. Babylon quit, the shedding of blood. Your heart that goes over if you show no love. Stay away, consciousness. What the God it is and if for no righteousness. Cause make sure the children live. All right, 1 2 1 2. You're live on Radio Culture. We're also live on iCulture TV. Welcome to the show today. My name is Kwasi, his son, Bakon. Thank you very much for making time to join me today. On our show today, we have a couple interviews. Of course, we also have the entertainment segment at the tail end of it. But in between, we will also come to you with our reports. Our reporters from across Ghana will give us the upper section, mid-section, and southern sector reports. Gay Heart, Justice, and hopefully either Echo or Jackson can join us for the reports today. In the meantime, we will be speaking about Obuasi, that beautiful city. We will be looking at the city of Obuasi, perhaps from an angle that, we are not expecting. We'll get to it when we get there. But right now, we will also be speaking about John Mahama's appointments so far. We'll single out a few of them and look at them. In the meantime, however, are you ready for the editorial today? Let's get straight to the editorial. Shift in African governance. Africa a land full of mystery, history, and resources. It is no simple talk to say that Africa has fed the world since ancient times and continues to do so. But the sad part to what would ideally have been a great story is that Africa herself is fed by none, rather exploited by many a greedy hunter. How Africa has survived through all this remains a mystery that the whole world has to grapple with. How has this blessed continent been milked for so many centuries, but still keeps renewing and regenerating? This is a subject that I would like to explore further with some erudite heads. But for me right now, the bigger question is, how has the exploitation of the continent been so successful for so long? How has the so-called independence of these carved-out entities called countries not produced that which we desire the most, the freedom to determine our own destinies? And without even remotely trying to suggest that I have the complete answer, may I suggest that some of these reasons are very obvious, while some others are so subliminal they could easily pass for conspiracy theory. Of course, our independence is styled after a system of governance which makes it possible, indeed plausible, to access the reins of governance through funding, which of course invites interest. The very idea of ruffling up the country every 4 years and resurrecting not so old disagreements buried in shallow graves of false reconciliations does not strike me as the best available option. The amount of money that goes into campaigning, if channeled into making people's lives actually better, would make a marked difference, I think. But that's not even the biggest problem, people. Take a situation where African countries have been forced through some devious agreements that for many decades, we have been made to believe we cannot break away from. Most, if not all, French-speaking African countries are under a system which forces them to bank their national wealth with France, and then are made to borrow from it with attached conditions and possibilities of being denied loans. How or why does Ghana own less than 10% of the gold over which government deploys so much resources to protect, over which so much blood is shed? All the bloodshed for just 10% or less? Why? Why do we have fuel shortages in Nigeria and Ghana, countries which mine oil? Why do we import canned tomatoes from Italy when every year there's a glut at Akomadai? Why? Why does Niger's uranium power Europe, but only 20% of Nigerians have access to electricity? Why? Why can't Haiti be quickly accepted into the African Union so we can step in and help our brothers and sisters resolve the issues confronting that great country, Haiti? Why? It all boils down to leadership. One of the strategies that has worked very well to keep Africans subservient to the colonial puppeteers is installing, well, of course, puppets and stooges who are only an appendage of their rule. And even though we fly flags and have anthems, our national agenda does not seem to align with the aspirations of the people. But don't get me wrong. It's not just puppets and stooges, though. It's also well-meaning leaders who are just afraid to rock the boat, maybe for good reason. But recently, we are beginning to see a different type of leadership across the continent. Do you agree? Fueled by the hopes and aspirations of its youth, who are beginning to realize that they deserve no less than anyone else from anywhere else, especially not when their homelands are so blessed. So from Rwanda, we see leadership that may not tick all the vital boxes when you're using the Westminster-style democracy template. But that sure as heck is making people's lives better in that country. And we see the alliance of Sahel states. They, in my opinion, have not only stepped up to determine their own destinies by changing their style of governance, much without the violence and the bloodiness often associated with that style of changing governments, but have also demonstrated a willingness to depart from the same old style of governance and approach to international geopolitics. Redirecting resources of nations to benefit its people seemed to me like a good idea. Oh yes, give me 54 of those, one for each African country, and none of the self-important politicians who put themselves through everything to attain power only to be lackeys of colonial power. We burn that. And here in Ghana, the reception given to Burkinabe leader Ibrahim Traore and the fact that John Mahama has appointed an envoy to the AES, on one hand, signals an effort to mend broken bridges between the ECOWAS sub-region, but it also defies the narrative that would ordinarily have chastised such a move as being undemocratic. Anyhow, John Mahama himself, while using the template, that's the Westminster-style template, seems to be bold enough to etch out his own symbols on that template to suit him and his purpose. That's the purpose of his people. Just like in Krumade. But we all see what the vicious 4-year cycle election model can bring. And if we are honest enough to ourselves, can we then answer the question, is it better to have a democratically elected tyrant or a benevolent military leader? Your answer is as good as mine. But please, if you are watching on social media, feel free to share it in the comment section so we can all benefit from it. We will be right back after this.
I was at my base with my men when I received a call from the operations commander that a group of bandits had invaded this place and were causing damage to properties worth millions of dollars. So I rushed to this place with my men. When we came here, I saw that this road, the road here, had been blocked with stones and trees.
MCE of Obuasi na nansi na bibi a ekono ya hadwin kakra first no nanka omune nam surface obenwu a ohu say ejie ka kra ba na wodwane no wayere ne boba kakra no okọ but sisi ano bibi edu ne say omo eko underground.
Now when the illegal miners come in, they come into the pillar area. And blasts with explosives. So what is happening is that every blast that you take is affecting the shaft bearer.
Na AGC wo ho no na surface mining emma kro mu ha ne de na edumati tupa ye family ye ma menu papa mu ina family ba surface mine no obeclear sa farmlands ni na nti at the moment no aduma potin pa de e bi ni ho nti ho oden a you go into galamsey ninta make us ho oden na wo komuni say AGA will not allow you
ye kosoro ya kwa de bi mechi Obuasi galamsey ngro mutimi chi a more than so we cocaine adwuma me say ya che me to me 25 million cash to fans on mujami o de me che no ne de bia wo obako bia be chewo be so ha na yet no yentimi nkowia.
So we parked the car here and we started removing the stones and the trees, not knowing the men had laid ambush at the top there, armed with cutlasses, sticks and locally manufactured pistols. So as soon as we started removing them, suddenly they rushed towards us.
Say ke be fam rantie na adwuma ana say ye be me baby me rantie no so atumi adidi. Say baby wo ho mo ase say omo nya adwuma wo biem a ye nyina ye nitua baby di say car so no nya ade nyina ye nitua.
Ni ahwa ya na AGF ya ba na de beto na monim na momoa yen ye frɛ nipa na omo kasa so ekwa na ekoso na de ye hu ni sɛ nipa no binum wo ho no mo aye hu sɛ sebi ye nya dwuma bia sɛ gold na ne bepe ekwambɔne so.
So the only reliable income for the chiefs directly becomes the royalty, and it is shared between the assembly and the owners, if you like, the chiefs who own Obuasi land. And there are about 5 paramounts. Under them are numerous sub-chiefs. So at their level, before it even shared according to the sub-chiefs, the man is already exhausted. So they tell you that they don't even get enough.
Obi kwa bet na crowd so or kwa about what and so what if you answer wo for kwa na homa no me nko hoda almost ahoma no bit me be say pole light phone be 10 and san okuta homa mu no de asan no de sifo nti so wo kwana sa homa nti a eno ane so we de area npa be 6 omo ti area ha omo wuye obu okwa omo ye dingu bottom.
I am totally against mining companies shooting galamseyers, just as I am against galamseyers also attacking the mining company operatives. So we are talking about violence in general, whether it emanates from the company or from the galamseyers. That violence has to stop.
No, our policy is that small-scale mining is a legal way of mining according to the laws of Ghana. We cannot say anything against the laws of Ghana. Ghana, as a nation, approves of small-scale mining and has actually given people licenses to mine. If anybody is doing a small-scale mining activity without a license, that person is breaking the laws of Ghana because the person does not have the right to mine. I think it's as simple as that.
All right. That clip was is an excerpt from a documentary that's available on our YouTube channel. Go to GH News now to watch the full documentary. But disclaimer, it's not new. It's not a new documentary. This piece was produced in the year 2009. 2009, not 2019, 2009. In the year, you can probably tell from the quality of the video, right? That it's not HD. It's none of the 4K stuff, not at all. This was done all the way back in the year 2009. In the year 2009, the issues that were articulated in that documentary disturbingly seem to be the same that we're having to deal with today. And I am supposed to be speaking with my guests who hold on a second. All right. I'm supposed to have two guests. Unfortunately, one of them seems to be on the move and cannot come in the green room. So what I'm going to try to do is I'll see if I can take the interview over audio, and also see if we can take them one by one, because it looks like we can't, because of the technology that we're using, take both of them on the same platform, because one of them, as I stated, is currently on the move. But please bear with me, stay with me. I'll be right back with you as soon as I'm able to raise the first of my two guests to discuss the city of Obuasi and related matters. In the meantime, please watch the short clip again.
I was at my base with my men when I received a call from the operations commander that a group of bandits had invaded this place and were causing damage to properties worth millions of dollars. So I rushed to this place with my men. When we came here, I saw that this road, the road here, had been blocked with stones and trees.
MCE yeah, Adibia MCE of Obuasi ache na nansi na baby a ekono ya hadwin kakra. First no nanka omune nam surface ubunwa ohu say egie ka kreba na wodwane no wayere ne boba kakra no oko. But sisi ano baby edu ne say omo eko underground.
Now when the illegal miners come in, they come into the pillar area. And blasts with explosives. So what is happening is that every blast that you take is affecting the shaft bearer.
Na AGC wo no na surface mining MCE kuro mu hane de na adwumati tupa ye family ye ma menu papa mu ina family ba surface mine no obeclear sa farmlands ni na nti at the moment no adwuma potin pa de be ni ho nti ohu oden a you go into galamsey ninta make us ohu oden na wo komuni say AGA will not allow you
ye kosoro ya kwa de bi ma echi
no bit me be say pole light pole be 10 and san okuta homem no de asan no de sifo nti so wo kwana sa homa nti a eno ane so we de area npa be 6 omuti area ha omuwuye obu okwa ye digu bottom.
I am totally against mining companies shooting galamseyers, just as I am against galamseyers also attacking the mining company operatives. So we are talking about violence in general, whether it emanates from the company or from the galamseyers. That violence has to stop.
All right, that violence has to stop. And with that, let me introduce my guest, Mr. Richard Elimah, a natural resources expert and also a human rights activist, let me say. We're having a bit of challenge with the camera, but I hope at least we can hear him. Good day, Mr. Elimah. Hello, sir. All right. Okay. We will bring him back as soon as we're able to get him. Thank you very much.
Our policy is that small-scale mining is a legal way of mining according to the laws of Ghana. We cannot say anything against the laws of Ghana. Ghana, as a nation, approves of small-scale mining and has actually given people licenses to mine. If anybody is doing a small-scale mining activity without a license, that person is breaking the laws of Ghana, because the person does not have the right to mine. I think it's as simple as that.
Yo, Ras.
Yeah, my brother.
It's time to go back home.
Same.
It's time to go back home.
Yes, see? With all the stinks that happiness, Zion train is coming, jumping.
It's been a long time.
See.
This is you know. Have to go home. Huh? It's time to go. It's time.
Oh. My people are balling. Come on, yeah. Why, yeah. Zion train is coming. Jumping on the train, yeah. Zion train is coming. Oh, yeah. Zion train is coming. Jumping on the train, yeah. Zion train is coming. Watch out. In the gully when me live, me see me people, them a ball, Mr. Big Man, Lord, them not care. It's a pity when me see the ghetto youth to them a cry, Mr. Big Man, Lord, them not care. Yeah, the youths them balling. Why yo? Yes, it's time. I got to move. Yes, my people crying. Oh Lord. Yes, in Malata. Oh yeah. Oh Lord. In Nima, Shukura, Mamobi. Why yo? Yeah. Take a look, my people in Medina. Oh, them crying. Why yo? Zion train is coming. Jumping on the train, yeah. Zion train is coming. Oh, yeah. Zion train is coming. Jumping on the train, yeah. Zion train is coming. Watch out, my people are balling. Pure separation upon the country. Mr. Big Man, Lord, them not care. Why I? Check out the ghetto. Why out? My people are balling. Poor people them striving. Take a look around the ghetto. My people are crying in Shita. Take a look around the ghetto. My people are striving in Munshi. But Zion train is coming. Jumping on the train, yeah. Zion train is coming. Oh, yeah. Zion train is coming. Jumping on the train, yeah. Cause Zion train is coming. Yes, it's time. My people want to go. Yes, to where they belong. Yes, in Addis Ababa. Down in Ethiopia. I want to go. We want to go, yo. Zion train is coming. Jumping on the train, yeah. Zion train is coming.
Yes, indeed, Zion train is coming. We are indeed having a bit of technical difficulty at this time. We'll try one more time to connect Mr. Richard Elimah, and hopefully we can he can stay with us right now. Good day, sir. Can you hear me, Mr. Elimah? Hello, sir. Hello, Mr. Elimah. Oh gosh. Oh, Charlie. This one just forgive me. But let's take it by Okay, unfortunately, the technology is messing with us still, but we have an option. We have Mr. Richard Elimah on audio. He will still be speaking with us. Unfortunately, we can't see him because there are some images that I wanted him to see and react to, as well as some videos, including the one that I just played. I wanted to ask if he remembers that time when we were producing that documentary and spoke to him about it. But unfortunately, I'm not sure if he has seen it because we're taking him via audio right now. But we'll still make it happen. All right, Mr. Richard Elimah, if you can hear me, thank you very much and welcome to the show.
Thank you. But let me say that I saw portions of the documentary and I saw myself talking.
Oh, good. So do you remember though?
Oh, yes. The memories are flooding back now.
Okay. So good to know. Good to know that you do remember that time.
Yeah.
Let me start by asking you, how much has changed since then? How much has changed since that time? That was 2009. Strikingly, from where I sit, don't see a whole lot changed yet. How much has changed for you?
Nothing. Unfortunately, nothing has changed. Nothing. At the time we were talking, we were pushing for government to end violence in the community, specifically the use of state security to terrorize communities who, whether justly or unjustly, may have issues with the company. And we were expecting that government will end this once and for all by, one, ensuring that they withdraw the state security from mining communities, and then two, to ensure that small-scale miners, the youth particularly who are interested in mining, for some of them, no matter what you do, they will want to do mining. So for such people, we create an avenue for them through the creation of concessions, mining concessions, so that we resettle them there. They can work in peace. Angogo Ashanti can also work in peace. It's been 60 years now, but unfortunately, as we talk, there's no framework like that. And that is what saddens me most.
Rather unfortunate. And this is something that you can't even try to politicize. Because, for instance, when we came over there that time to make that documentary, the NDC was in power. Since then, we have seen an NPP government come to power, an NDC government come back to power, an NPP government come to power, and an NDC government back in power now. And from what you said, nothing has changed. Are we taking the people of Obuasi for granted, Mr. Elimah? What do you think?
Yes. Unfortunately, yes. Let me also state on record that we had a similar incident in 2016 in January. There was an invasion of the mine by illegal miners or informal miners, depending on how you want to describe them. did everything to get them out of the underground mine, but failed. The miners gave the excuse that they wanted to mine, but there was no concession for them to mine. And it dragged on and on and on and on and on until August of 2016, when eventually the Minerals Commission established the Movement Committee, tasked with the responsibility of preparing concessions, where ultimately these miners will be resettled. But all the groundwork was done, the concessions were prepared, the miners were formed into cooperatives, and then Mahama lost power. The new government that came failed to continue with this scheme. And so we were back to square one. And unfortunately, what we are hearing is that the concessions that were prepared to host these informal miners were shared among some MPP guys. MPP party executives who shared among them. Some of them have sold their concessions to the Chinese, and the Chinese are busily working, whilst our own indigenous people do not have anywhere else to work. So that is the state of affairs. It tells you that governments, both past and present, have taken the people of Obuasi for granted. But I'm only hoping that this incident that occurred will be a wake-up call to President Mahama. It's his second term. He has experienced it before, and he's still experiencing it now. I am hoping that this time around, he will be able to put in place sustainable measures to end this frequent violence once and for all.
Not a very good story at all. But this is why I needed you on video. And we'll bring you back at some time so we can have a fuller discussion. But why I wanted you on video is because I wanted to show you this image, right? And my viewers can see it right now. I'm contrasting the city of Johannesburg and the city of Obuasi, right? It's not even close. Not even close at all. In addition to that, if you check the commerce of Johannesburg, right, you find out that Johannesburg is a center of mining, manufacturing, and finance. Okay, they will tell you about the Chamber of Mines, which is located in Johannesburg. Like Johannesburg has a broader scope of commerce. If you look at Obuasi, it looks like there's one gold mine and everybody's dashing for that one gold mine. What's going on there, Richard?
Well, I think the problem goes how, as a country, we have viewed the mining sector. Obuasi, Takwa, and Johannesburg all started mining around the same time. The difference of 10, 20 years and so on. But all within the 1890s,
thereabouts. Yeah.
Now, the difference is that, one, for South Africa, the indigenous owned the mines. Indigenous South Africans owned the mines. When I talk of indigenous South Africans, it includes the whites, who are South Africans anyway. They owned the mines. That is the first thing. The second thing is that they developed offshoot industries, or what they need of the mine was met by an indigenous South African company. So if they needed boots, there was a South African manufacturing company that gave them the boots. If they needed goggles, there was a South African company that manufactured the goggles. If they needed gloves, there was a South African company that supplied it. If they needed catering services, there were South African companies that did it, etc., etc. So what it meant is that the revenue from mining, the proceeds from mining, circulated within South
the
Africa.
community. Yeah,
the money stayed within the economy. It didn't go out. All the companies that sprang up were South African companies. The owners, the shareholders, they were all South African companies. So whatever money they got from mining was reinvested into the economy. And that is why you have a very robust industrial sector in South Africa. Very huge manufacturing companies who even supply who gives supplies to companies in Ghana. Contrast that to Ghana. We, after Nkrumah's overthrow, under Nkrumah, our mines were 100% owned. After Nkrumah's overthrow, we started privatization. We tried all forms of privatization until 1983, when under the ERP, Economic Recovery Program, we diversified the mining sector. And we slashed our shareholding from about 55% to 10%, just 10%.
Why? That completely beats me.
So what it meant mining, for every mining operation, Ghana government had only 10% shares, only 10%, which they call free carried interest.
Richard,
that is all that Ghana government had.
Let me ask you, do you know the reason that was stated for this, right? For somebody to have an asset and say, okay, I'm shedding it, I'm letting it go. Do you know? You are an expert in that field. What reason was given for that?
Yes, in 1983, Ghana was in dire straits. Our economy was a mess. And I mean, they say the economy was comatose, you know. So the new PNDC regime needed money to turn things around. So they had to go to IMF, World Bank for support. And one of the conditionalities was that the state had to divest itself of all its interests in the mining sector. So the state mining corporation was divested. The state mining corporation was made up of the state gold mining corporation, the state bauxite, state manganese, and so on. They formed a conglomerate. We broke all these into pieces and sold them to foreign interests. And then we passed a new mining law in 1986 that only said that Ghana government will maintain only 10% share in any mining operation, from 55% to 10%. That is what happened. And it was under the guidance of the World Bank, IMF. So that is the reason why we gave it out. They told us to just maintain 10% and then sit back and then collect taxes from the companies. So all mining companies are now paying corporate tax, they pay PAYE, they pay income tax for their workers, etc., etc. That is what government now concerns itself with. But when it comes to participating in the industry, that has enormous benefits for the economy. We are participating not at our optimum. It's very, very minimal. And it's all because of the World Bank. So that is the story.
Interesting.
Now, back to the Johannesburg comparison.
Yes.
In the case of Ghana, almost all our big companies, the three biggest companies in Ghana are Newmont, Goldfields, and Anglo Gold. All these three are foreign companies. Newmont is American, Goldfields is South African, Anglo Gold is also South African. So what it means is that every revenue that comes from mining goes back to these countries. They repatriate all their profits and retain only a minimal amount of money that they use for their operations. So how then can we develop as a country? Secondly, we do not have auxiliary industries. Go and check with the mining companies. I read the Chamber of Mines report, and we are told that they spent about $1 billion in the local economy. Now, if you look at the things that they purchased, all these are imported things. All these the things that they purchased, all imported. Goods, the mine supply, the chemicals, everything. They imported every one of them from South Africa, from Canada, from Australia, from the US. So we are really not getting much benefit from our mining industry. The mining industry is booming. Gold prices are all-time highs, but the state called Ghana is getting virtually nothing from it.
What a sad story, Richard. Now, again, I'm looking at the average income for even the miners, right? Like entry-level miners. South Africa, Johannesburg, an average miner makes almost $3,000 a month. In Ghana, the average miner at the Obuasi mine makes an average of $181 a month. How? Why? You know, yes, and I think you've taken us through all of that. But I guess my question here is, does this justify the kind of emotion that we see coming from Obuasi all the time? Because even for those who are like, oh yeah, mama yejwani bi ne, if you get the yejwani bi to year, you are only earning $181, let's say $200 a month, versus $3,000 at Johannesburg. Like, I don't get it. Meanwhile, Richard, in a place like Australia, they have high value for people who have mining knowledge from Ghana. I know this for a fact. I have a friend of mine who was flown in from Ghana by a mining company to Australia just to have an interview. So I know that it's not like we have inferior miners. There's something wrong with the system. Please react to that for me.
Our miners are some of the best. The problem again comes back to the doorstep of government. These miners, when they come into a country, they look at the labor environment, they look at the average wages, and then they negotiate. It's all part of the negotiation process. They negotiate with the Ghana Mine Workers Union, and then they arrive at how much to pay them. Instead of the Ghana Mine Workers Union pushing for the narrative that, look, you are a multinational company with branches in other countries. You have to pay the Ghanaian worker the average that you pay a similar worker with similar duties in South Africa, Australia, or other countries. The Mine Workers Union rather negotiate with the Ghanaian-based pay. That is why if you look at all the groups, Gophers, Anglo Gold, and Newmont, if you check the wages of their subsidiaries elsewhere, you realize that the Ghanaian worker is always at the lowest when it comes to the pay that they receive. It's our negotiation ability. Our people are not doing the best. They are not being very truthful, and they've been shortchanging the workers of Ghana.
And it looks like we're satisfied with too little. Like we have certain interventions. Back in 2009 when we came to do that the documentary, one of the things we covered was the intervention programs that Anglo Gold was, providing for the people. And now some of the reactions we got from the people were that, Charlie, me a prema new. I'm a gold somebody who's mining gold. They know money, right? So to tell them that to go and rear grass cutters, which I'm not belittling that, but which to them is like too long. Like you giving me something that's going to earn me only a fraction of what I'm making now. That's not a good enough enticement. That's the reaction we kept getting from them. What's your reaction to the so-called interventions, the intervention programs? Yes, those ones.
Call it corporate social investment.
Yes,
and so on. I had a funny story. Not ahead. I was told. I was there when the person said it. We were at one of the communities and we were asking them, the young people there, why they are not taking advantage of the grass cutter rearing project by Anglo Gold Ashanti and then the Obuasi Municipal Assembly. This was way back in 2007. And this young man asked me in Twi, I said, brother, say, Enkrantie, sika wo Adentina Bruni no buy no amenya Enkrantie, name that was a philosophical response they gave me.
That is deep.
Yes, very deep. Now, so the point is that when you look at the corporate social investments that they've been doing, two things. Number one, they are not well thought through.
Yeah.
The process of even selecting the projects is problematic. There is no extensive consultation with the project beneficiaries. You claim you want to help the youth to rear grass cutter. I'm sure if they had spoken to this gentleman whose quote I just gave, if they had spoken to people like him, they would have known that grass cutter rearing is a no.
It's not an option for them. Richard,
But yes,
let me please take a pen. Let me just throw this in as well because that buttresses your point. In the documentary, right? If you watch it, there's this gentleman who was also saying, he personally opted for that. He put his money in there, and he says, for 2 years, the grass cutters are the same. They just keep eating his food, and they're not producing anything. You know, sounds funny, but another of the reactions. Please go on.
Yeah. So the consultations are not done. So eventually, the company uses this classical textbook kind of selection of projects. They sit down there in the offices and then they think that, this community, we feel that if we give them this project, it will benefit them. But in reality, it might not even benefit them. That is one. And then number two, the motive behind this corporate social responsibility has also been questioned. You look at it and it's more like trying to just for the optics, trying to make the company look good.
Yeah.
Trying to make the Ghanaian public know that the company is investing in the communities, etc., etc.
I built a public toilet and brand it.
The people for whom they are designing the projects do not benefit from it. So those are the challenges involved with the CSIs.
Okay, so let me ask you, outside of the mines and its operations and everything, how much agriculture really is going on in that region? Back when we were growing up, we used to hear about Obuasi. I don't know if there was anything really called Obuasi, but people used to mention Obuasi. How much agriculture is going on in that region?
Well, agric is still going on in the outskirts of Obuasi, but not as rigorous as we used to see it in those days. And yes, to answer your question directly, there used to be what we call Obuasi. They were typically quite small in size, but very, very, very sweet. Very sweet. Those were what we call Obuasi, which people from Accra and other places came to buy and then sell. But we don't have it anymore because there was a study by one Professor Akabza of the University of Ghana. He's now retired. He did a study, and then the conclusion was that these Obuasi was sweet because of the presence of some chemicals. So that collapsed the business, and people stopped, cultivating the Obuasi. So that is the reality. But some agric is going on, and I can throw this in that look. If the company can invest a lot more of the CSI into agriculture, I'm sure it will be more beneficial than the grass cutter nonsense that they keep bringing up, because till today, most of the people within the rural areas surrounding Obuasi still do agriculture. So if the company can decide to support them with seedlings, with extension services, with land and etc., with more enhanced methods for mining, for agriculture and all that, I'm sure they will benefit it more than the other initiatives that don't seem to work.
Okay, but right now, and I know that's not the case, but it's beginning to sound to me like we're making it the sole responsibility of the mines to take care of the youth and employment and and all of that in that area. That's not what we are saying, is it?
No, not at all. You see, the company didn't come here to be a philanthropist. The company didn't come to Ghana to be a development agent. I mean, let's face the fact. They are here to make profit. They are here to increase their margins. So the CSI interventions that they do are only complementary. The real promoter of development at the community level should be government, not the companies. Unfortunately, what we have observed is that when it comes to development in mining communities particularly, not Obuasi, it's like the government has divested itself of that responsibility. And it is rather pushing that burden on the companies. And that's what we are seeing. So you come to Obuasi, some very important interventions that you expect the companies to do: provision of water, provision of sanitation facilities, provision of market, provision of schools, provision of hospitals. They've left that job to the mining company to do. And that is also one of the problems that came up.
So now that we know that, okay, government has to do more, let's look at government then. First of all, if you're taking 10%, you don't even have enough to do more, right? But let's put that away. Now, if the government has to step in to do more, Richard, I'm looking at a situation where government will have to renegotiate the terms. Because, for instance, if you look at the how about, for instance, I guess this is my question, Richard. Instead of putting monies into the, you know, all these ones, for instance, all the grass cutter stuff, why don't you bump up and give the people who are working in that area realistic wages, which I believe will trickle down? Don't you think so? If people are making $3,000, $3,000, oh, yeah, for the young families, South Africa for more for 3,000, more money 2,000. Instead of the 200, let's say an average miner is making $2,000 a month. Even without social intervention programs, don't you think this money will trickle down and make an impact, Richard?
Yes, it will. And I do agree with you. They should just pay the workers very well. If you pay them well, they can take care of their housing, they can take care of their health, they can take care of their education and other stuff. They wouldn't even need any social intervention by the company. They can do things themselves.
I think so.
So it's a position I do agree with.
I think so too. And because if people wouldn't invest the money into other areas, which, you know, will benefit other people. For instance, if I'm making enough money from the mine to open a small store by the side, but I have to work in the mine, I'm employing somebody to work in that store, right? So I think it's an approach that has to be looked at. Let's sit down with these mining companies and let them understand that there should be a holistic approach, because since 2009, nothing, like you said, has changed. It's shameful. But Richard, my next question to you. So in the documentary also, we heard one chief saying that he thinks that the youth of Obuasi, you know, sometimes, and this is not, he didn't say that in a derogatory way. Let me not cause trouble for him. But his opinion is that everybody seems fixated on the mine, like it's gold or bust, right? Like, what do you think? Do you think people should be looking at other sources of income rather than everybody looking at the mine and everybody be like, oh, nah, they've taken it away and all that? Surely the mine is not taking up all the land in that area.
Yes, if you look at countries that have developed on the back of the mining industry, one thing is very, very clear. In fact, there are three approaches that they use. Number one is diversification.
Mm-hmm.
They've diversified the economy away from mining. So since 1897, Anglo Gold Ashanti or Ashanti Gophers Corporation, depending on which time period we are talking about, has been operating in Obuasi. It is the only single biggest mine in Obuasi. Mm-hmm. No other mine operating in Obuasi apart from Anglo Gold. So you would expect this immense pressure on Anglo Gold.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wants to work in a company. Even kids as young as 7 years, 6 years, if you ask them what work they want to do when they grow up, they will tell you they want to work in the mine.
Mm-hmm.
Because that is the only significant economic activity that they've been exposed to.
Mm-hmm.
That is one. Number two, apart from diversification, well, diversification in two ways. One, diversify the gold mining itself.
That's right.
Anglo Gold has released 60% or 70% of their concession to government. We need additional mining companies in Obuasi. Imagine we had at least 2 medium-scale mining companies operating in Obuasi, for instance. I'm sure the pressure on Anglo Gold will reduce, and all the skirmishes that we keep seeing will also go down. The second part of the diversification is that, can we diversify the Obuasi economy away from mining?
Exactly.
Can we develop industry, light industry, for instance, manufacturing something, agro-processing, for instance? Can we add value to some of the fruits that we produce around here? Can we develop an education enclave in Obuasi? Can we develop a tourism enclave in Obuasi? Right. All these are economic activities that we can have in addition to mining.
Kushia is right there, right? Kushia is right around the corner from there. And it's already has international fame as the cleanest city in Ghana and all of that, you know?
Yes. So that is it. And then the second strategy is value addition. Value addition.
Exactly.
Can we add value to some of the gold? When I was growing up, my grandfather used to be a goldsmith. Now you hardly see any goldsmith in town because they can't get the gold. Why? Because now it is a multinational mining companies mining the gold. They mine and they ship everything away to Switzerland and to South Africa. There's very little left in Ghana to build a thriving goldsmith industry. If we were adding value to our gold, we could be rivaling places like Dubai, like go to India.
Exactly.
India doesn't mine gold, but they are the world's biggest consumer of jewelry. Where do they get the gold from? We could create a similar industry in the country if we wanted. So these two strategies, if we relied on them, I'm sure we could move the economy away from mining. Yes, the mining industry may be there, but remember, it is a finite industry. It will end one day. One day when it ends, which economic activity will hold the Obuasi economy? That is what we should be thinking of.
And that is the danger, because if we're not careful, Obuasi will become some sort of a type of, I don't want to use my mouth self to say it too. You know, if that happens, because it doesn't seem like, apart from the mining, a whole lot is going on there. But I really am very interested in the diversification points that you're raising. In Obuasi, for instance, and I'm going to show that image again for our viewers as I make the point. And I'm very sorry you can't see this one, but at least you know exactly what I'm talking about. So you can just conjure the image in your head. Obuasi versus Johannesburg, right? Now, we have a new government that is thinking of resetting things, whatnot. I hope we're going to go beyond resetting. I've heard President Mahama say before he became president that he was actually thinking of building a new capital, which may not happen in his time, right? But he's already thinking of building a new capital for Ghana, for instance, building new cities that are fit for purpose, as well as, you know, renovating, if you will, older cities to, you know, certain statuses and all of that. Do you think the new government should make Obuasi a priority in this area, with the focus on establishing the processing industry in Obuasi, for instance? Let's have a branding of Obuasi as a golden city which produces and processes gold. And let's put some value on the Obuasi gold. So, for instance, the way we have Ghana chocolate, if you have Obuasi gold, it should be like better than the average gold, for instance. Talk to me about this.
It's a laudable suggestion. I agree we need to rebrand Obuasi. But this is a conversation we've been having. When you came in 2009, it came up in our conversations somewhere along the line. 2016, when we went through the crisis, it came up again. It appears that anytime Obuasi is in the news, it's for the wrong reasons. It's for violence, Galamsey guys, you know, engaging in a confrontation with the military, and then some people dying, some people getting arrested, etc. Very, very negative. It is time to rebrand Obuasi. And that reminds me, we are told that gold from Obuasi happens to be one of the finest in the world. So if we intend to create a niche for our gold, I am sure we can do it. We can give it a very unique name, call it Asante Gold, call it Obuasi Gold, whichever name we want to give it, and make it a very unique name so that it will attract premium rates on the international market. I'm sure that can be done. And if that is done, the government should also then turn around and then consider the state of Obuasi itself. Look, The Obuasi township is within the belly of the mine. This is not good enough. We need to begin to think of ways of moving the city away from the mine so that all these frequent skirmishes can also come down. The mine can operate in peace. The community can also live in peace and then go ahead and do their economic activities without any trouble. So there's a lot of work ahead. And I'm only hoping and praying that the new government will go ahead and then do something about it.
Thank you very much, Richard. Before we go, my last question to you. So in other countries, what they do is, if there's a thriving industry, what they would do is center the administration of that industry within that area. Do you think it's time to move the administration of mining operations away from the city, the capital city that is, into the area where the action is actually going on? For instance, move the operations of the Chamber of Mines and all the other affiliated agencies to the Obuasi area, since Obuasi, of course, is the biggest mining area in Ghana.
Yes. It's, in a way, it will help
to cut red tape, right? Right now, if you want to do anything, you have to go to Accra and go to some department and some ministry. And right now, you have the offices right there next to the mines, where you can access it within yep. Please go ahead.
The funny thing is, all the mining companies in Ghana, all of them, they have their corporate offices in Accra, all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all within the same enclave at the airport residential area.
Of course.
That is where they are at the moment. So, yes, we need to. Anglo-Gold Ashanti's head office should be in Obuasi. Go First Ghana's head office should be in Takwa. Newmont's head office should either be in Kenyasi or Agyemang.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure once they do that, the enclave will develop, the enclave will get better infrastructure.
That alone will bring better. Yep. Mm-hmm. Of course. All right. Richard, thank you so much. We will definitely bring you back for a lengthier discussion. This discussion is within the context of our weekend live stream, so we are limited for time. But I would like to sit down with you in the, in a fuller interview to look more and to look closer at some of these things. And I would like to say thank you very much for making the time for us today.
Okay. Thank you very much for having me.
Every time. Our best regards. Thank you very much.
Okay. All right.
Bye.
Yo, Ras.
Yeah, my brother.
It's time to go back home.
Same.
It's time to go back home.
You see? With all the stinks that happiness. Zion train is coming, jumping.
It's been a long time.
See.
This is your have to go home. It's time to go. It's time.
Oh. My people are balling. Come on, yeah. Why, yeah. Zion train is coming. Jumping on the train, yeah. Zion train is coming. Oh, yeah. Zion train is coming. Jumping on the train, yeah. Zion train is coming. Watch out. In the gully when me live, me see me people, them a ball, me Mr. Big Man, Lord, them not care. It's a pity when me see the ghetto youth, them a cry, Mr. Big Man, Lord, them not care. Yeah, the youths them balling. Why yo? Yes, it's time. I got to move. Yes, my people crying. Oh Lord. Yes, in Malata. Oh yeah. Oh Lord. In Nima, Shukura, Mamobi. Why yo? Yeah. Take a look, my people in Medina. Oh, them crying. Why yo? Zion train is coming. Jumping on the train, yeah. Zion train is coming. Oh, yeah. Zion train is coming. Jumping on the train, yeah. Zion train is coming. Watch out, my people are balling. Your separation upon the country. Mr. Big Man, Lord, them not care. Why, check out the ghetto. Why, my people are balling. Poor people, them striving. Take a look around the
All right. Yes, indeed. Zion train is coming. Sons of Commander Messiah. Thank you very much for staying with us. We are going to go straight over and get our reports. I hope we can get the correspondence in the green room as soon as possible so we can do this quickly. Unfortunately, we are not able to bring you the interview with Ras Mubarak, who just messaged us to say that he has been caught up with a situation that he has to deal with urgently. We do apologize for the inconvenience. We would definitely like to bring him back another day for that discussion. But for now, let me cut across and bring you Mr. Synergy. What's up, Synergy? Yeah, until Kasa. Okay, I unmuted you. All right.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
I'm good, and you?
I'm all right. I hear say you guys had a bit of a challenge in Studio 2, so we have to do the show, solely from Studio 1 today. But it's all right. We can still do that. And thank you for. I hope so we can get the other correspondents in the room as soon as possible and get to go. But in the meantime, how are you doing? What's going on?
I'm good. We are trying to survive in this hardship right here in Ghana, as you already know. Ghana has always been a place. You just survive for the future. So we are still surviving. What about you?
Deo, but I wanted to ask you if you know about this. There's a play written by Dr. Ben Abdallah, right?
Okay.
It's called Land of a Million Magicians.
Okay.
And it basically deals with how Ghanaians are able to survive in Ghana. Because, Charlie, check this out. How do you make 500 cedis a month? I'm taking the Zoom Lion. Some time ago, I said Zoom Lion story be by now. And money they make 500 cedis a month. And this is not something that they're doing part-time. This is their full-time job. They earn 500 cedis a month. How do you pay rent? How do you feed? How do you buy clothes? How do you go to the hospital? How?
Well, let me start off from this angle. Ghana is a clear interpretation of we are living by grace. If we are to take our life to be the Bible, we are clearly living under grace, because just as you rightly said, how can you survive under 500 Ghana cedis as a monthly salary, of which entails all utility bills? If you are lucky enough to be in a house built by your parents or whatever, you still, one way or the other, have to take care of certain things. If you happen to be a family man, you still have to take care of you, yourself, your family, in addition with paying utility bills. So if you are to go by it in a simple calculation, that is, if you are spending 10 cedis a day, that is to yourself. You don't eat anything, you don't buy any new clothes, you don't pay any utility bills, but what you have to do is to spend 10 cedis a day. At the end of the month, that is 300 Ghana cedis. 300 Ghana cedis. So out of the 500 Ghana cedis, it's left with just 200 Ghana cedis. So looking at this calculation, it tells us that if you are living in Ghana, it is called pratis, as the Agyemang will say. Pratis.
It's called what?
Radio culture.
What's it called? Yeah.
It is called pratis.
Pratis. Pratis is the definition.
Pratis in it. Oh, yeah, the part to part in a connection way. I survive it. And then was a 10 Ghana bin in Krawa. What the abedi was to bear 5 cities if they are 20 a channel. You'll find another way to survive. That is it. We live our life like PZ guys, In Ghana, the Obia Haslama. And yes, you will live under poverty, serious one, of which you have nobody to explain to. The person you are going to explain to is also living under same
pressure. But
same pressure.
It's awesome. We want some more because still we manage to survive and thrive. And we'll bring that discussion back. But let's welcome Agyemang for our first report. Nananimo Akrepim ba for Agyemang. No matter saying will be our one.
I rather that Roma Ras. Money Agyemang sono ne Agyemang ponwa. Obo free. Brochimema Kwasi kokoko kro kasi bronin krom. Ede aba Ghana ne wiasa fa na nyina money Agyemang.
Yɛdase pii adwuma dase na ka wobɛnya nka woma yɛhu w'anim yie kakra nka ɛbɛboa asɛ baabi a wogyina no nnua no akata w'anim kakra nti ka wotumi pie ma ahwɛfoɔ ehu w'anim yie na nka yɛhu aberanteɛ kamakama a ɔde yɛ report ɛbrɛ yɛn yi na pɛpɛɛpɛ nice one yo Fayeko, what's happening over there? Nananimo.
Mejidi sɛ Ras Mubarak ma sɛ deɛ muhu m'anim yie.
Yehu w'anim yɛte wo nka so Fayeko. Ɛdeɛ na ɛkɔ so wɔ baabi a wowɔ no. Okay. We having a bit of a challenge. I think it's a connectivity issue. We'll do our best to bring Nanani Mobile for Kripim Agyemang back.
Standing for peace. Reggae that sound all star.
Okay, Nanani Motiminkan.
Epache said I'm so nkapa Ras.
Yo, good. Fayeko. Eden ekoso.
Awie ni enumere menje obibia waya kradoa. Obutu na fide ho a ohwe iCulture TV. Emo bia bo ene adwuma. Ras Mubarak me to nkra firi Bromantamu kuro no ye kura eso papa. Sunwan ka ho bi wanchi brekum doma German South ni German North nyina ka ho bi. Na ene enkra na meto no meto free German North ya Sampa ene won krupon na ne nyina na se ansa na Ghana fo nyina eba beto aba na Ghana mampani ya Urade Adaroma ene wona te be nwa so obu oman konkron Ghana His Excellency John Dramani Mahama bra wo bo nto bedu Bromantamu no ade to brom fo nyina enim se otumfo nyankropon be se yedom ta na chi no sanso babiewu a obehwe atoto no mayie pa ne titire cashew ho adwuma ebeye kama pa ye krabehwe na ebu nso ayede
mekai
esenti akwanya hodo ode cashew efiri so
connectivity issue with the asemo
to abawie ye Awurade ye adom ye obefa abengu atena so ye oso ena German North wono ho nyina esu ede nsama hodo etoro nim so osere ne buru osere ne nya adom pene sese be buru ni mato ni muto no one ya ayede ni gina kyere mponso enti ansa na Ghana fo ebeto
Okay, all right. We're having issues, but we will bring Agyemang back as soon as he's able to connect. In the meantime, let's speak with Justice Malfo. Justice, Yamaha.
Hello, boss. Major also.
Yo, no more to say.
Nyango panda uro mbia boko.
Yeah, the Nyamiasi. I ain't find out what to say. Oh, Asante Mampo na.
Sure.
Good.
Fire call. Asante Mampo. Sabri die me wa Asante Mampo. Mampo kuntunchi obu ohia kumana na. Da sebre we se bonsu. Otoso mienu. Ne nana no mo Asante Mampo. Omo de nchia ma obi bia. Ohwe na wotie GH News Now. Ene iCulture TV, Radio Culture. Omo cheche obi bia. Na sam radio obi pie ha no mo am say MPP amanyokuo ne NDC amanyokuo no. Em say enkrofo bi ahyase a omo defect. Every MPP eko NDC. Ebinom say omo asom MPP amanyokuo no ache. Nanso omo anya mfaso die bia mfiri mu. Enu nti no, say omo defect a omo kọ National Democratic Congress. Na mechire mu kakra yɛkɔ NDC ɔmo party office ɛwɔ ha no mo ɛne ɔmo secretary ekodi nkɔmɔ Hudi Yaya ekodi nkɔmɔ sank amoakohene a mampanyini John Dramani Mahama His Excellency abo ne din sɛ ɔmɛyɛ Ashanti Regional Minister no ɔmo som sɛn na nanu di sɛ mo ɔde tu dwa ne sɛ ɔmo gye saa position no to mu na ɔmo srɛ no sɛ ebi mmerɛ biem na ɔmo nhwɛ ɔmo Ashanti region ha no mo a ɔmo bɔ ɔmo ho mmɔden no John Dramani Mahama sɛ ne gu so a wɔyɛ no wɔnhwɛ na ɔmfa mmɔ ɔmo aba so nti no Hudi Yaya kyerɛ mu sɛ wohwɛ Abbas Nuruddin a mprempren ɔno nso so wɔnyɛ appointment need me ɛno nti no mampanyin John Dramani Mahama paa na video no wɔ hɔ no mo a yɛbɛpɛ sɛ yɛ production manager ɛbɛhwɛ na wabɔ video na ma yɛ video no a ɛyi nkɔmmɔdie na ɛkɔɔ so a yɛne ɛyi secretary Elimah National Democratic Congress Mampɔn constituency na wabɔ video no de ama yɛ kakum yɛgye no ɔkwakuo no mu sɛ video no wɔ hɔ no mo a ɔmmɔ ɛmfa ɛma yɛn sɛ video no nso so nyɛ ready nso so a na sesei no deɛ ɛtrendi wɔ kurom hanom ɛyɛ bɔfoɔ bi a na ɔwɔ hanom meka bɔfoɔ a ɛnyɛ hunter ɛyɛ asɛ MPP gurus no baako ɔmo a ɛnam wɔn so a sɛ ɔmo ka sɛ impuru a impuru ɛhyɛ nso so a ɛhyɛ before sɛ obi bɛba bɛyɛ mmarahyɛ badwani wɔ Asante Mampɔn ha no sɛ wɔanam saa nipakuo no so a ɛnya adeɛ a wobɛtumi aba bɛyɛ saa position wobɛtumi aba bɛyɛ member of parliament for Mampɔn constituency because ɔmo no na ɔmo yɛ grassroots a ɔmo wurawura aseɛ yɛ campaign no ma wo sɛnea ɛbɛyɛ a wɔnum nsɛm a wɔtɔn no ebɛtumi akɔ akyire ama amanfoɔ no nso so agye wɔto mu na baako bi ɔka ho a na ɔyɛ assembly member ɛde ma Nkwanta electoral area mprempren a yɛkasa wɔ sɛ wɔnyɛ MPP ni bio na sɛ nka yɛto aba bie mu no a ɛna nka NDC amanyɔkuo ne MPP amanyɔkuo ne kɔ akɔhyia a ɛyɛ His Excellency John Dramani Mahama nka yɛade anka ɔbɛto thank you vote ɛde ama no a ɔse sesei no wɔ defect ɔkɔ National Democratic Congress ɔkɔ ɔmo party office akɔ akɔgye party card sesei wɔnyɛ MPP ni biem nipa anka yɛka nka ɛnam no so ma ɔnabo kɔkɔ mpatwum sapɔn ɔyɛ member of parliament ɛde ma Asante Mampɔn nipa ɛnam no so a metuma ka sɛ obedi akonnwa no a ɛnɛ nipa no yɛfrɛ no ɔnabo Desmond Sapɔn nti nka ɔne ɔnabo kɔkɔ mpatwum sapɔn kɔmu nyinaa de sapɔn deɛ nanso ɛne sɛ ampatwum sapɔn etwa ne first term ne wie yɛ no ɛyɛ 2016 no ebesi 2020 no no hu sɛ papa no sɛ ɔmo no homɔde nanum kasa nyɛ ontumi ne nipa ni nkɔmɔ wɔ abere akoro a ɔnkasa ntia no ɛno nti no ɔtwɛn ne ho firi ne campaign team no mu ɛyɛ n'adwene sɛ ɔbɛ campaign atia no nanso ɛntumi antentam ti saa nipa no sɛ MPP foɔ bɔ ɔmo ho pem na sɛ 2028 so ɔmo nim na ɔmo de kɔkɔ mpatwum sapɔn ba a NDC betumi agye seat no ɛyɛ Asante Mampɔn seat no NDC ebetumi agye a ɛbɛyɛ deɛ di kan koraa for the first time in history a MPP ɛdi nkukuo ɛwɔ parliamentary elections emu a NDC amanyɔkuo a ɔmo di bi da ɔmo na ebetumi aba abɛfa abɛnya no enti no nsɛm wei ne afoforo bi na mekeka bɔ mu a yɛ report yi a GH News na etwa gu YouTube etwa gu Facebook mede bi ba na yɛde abɛsom yɛ tiefoɔ ne ahwɛfoɔ na ɔnabɔ no kasa kyerɛ mu sɛ ɔhwɛ animu kakra sɛ Mahama yɛde ne si so nkyɛɛ ɔhwɛ ato bosom yɛtɔ so na ɛyɛ April bosom no ɔhwɛ animu sɛ otimi yɛ na appointment ni nyinaa wie na ayi no saa ministerial vetting no nso so go through na yɛ approve wɔn nyinaa wie a ɛyɛ ade a wɔbɛkɔ party office NDC party office na wakɔ akɔkɔgye party card isan sɛ wasom MPP amanyɔkuo no ɛyɛ 16 years nie onya mfasoɔ bi amfiri mu mfasoɔ a wonya firi mu a yɛ moto ɛm sɛ Bawumia campaign team no ɛbɛkyekyɛ moto wɔ ha Bawumia campaign team no Bawumia campaign team led by Miracles Abuaji a no ɔyɛ presidential staffer ɔmo bɛkyekyɛ moto ma wɔn na em say delegate no munya moto ono nko a no nti wo se onya mfa so bi am free party ne so
I see.
say wo de no compare eye Dr. Frank Abuako hene a oni Abuako hene ne co school o mensa sa hene wa Asante Mampo ha nanso Abuako hene ti ba be regional minister de a na is abrabo ne ya ka chi ama no nti o se ono so de no ho bedo NDC amanyoko
meaning se sa no kan ya
no so video no ho no say are you ready
okay
video no ho
unfortunately no I don't know if you're aware but you issue with the systems for studio 2 and the videos are played from studio 2 and you know unfortunately we are not able to play the videos now but the American say phone na and call your YouTube channel, right? Because those videos will be there. Call your YouTube channel GH News Now and as a call TikTok. It's just I post snippets on TikTok, right?
TikTok,
but if you want definitely into TikTok and all of that GH News Now. Justice, you better was CP thank you very much. Okay, Nanimo. Sorry, sir. Your trip here. My yen twice soon fee baby ye jaw fee no.
Ewie. Enti na me ka se bra Ghana mampani a ote Ghana bengu asese o mampani His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Wane nto Obuasi no e na obepie bruma mu ha, wade to bruma fo nyina enim se nya Erade ya adom na so sanso ba bi mu obehwe ama kashu dwadie ene ho adwuma aye kama pa ne titira akwan ahodo aye fa so ekofa kashu firi ho ekome ya ahodo okoton no obehwe aye ne nyina se da be ya akuafo betuma han wo ne sende se de Ghana fo to obewe nyame adaworoma Erade asanso de na ba bi so mampani ena ukọ German South German North ya wo nkrupon ene sampa wade ensama ahodo to na nim se wasre na oburu wasre na nyaado ono akasa na to nanim to se Erade ye nadom na nananom so ta na chi echigina na osanso befa benwa transform mampani bi mu obehwe na akwan ahodo a ewo German North ni German South ne Brumantam nyina ba bibia kashu wo bia no ya akwan no apratote apansam no obehwe aye ni nyina esente Erade adom na se waba bi mu a okai no akwan ahodo apratote apansam no ontwe na ninhwe na wonye eno achi abra odi kan ba benwa mu ansa na 2016 obefira benwa so no ofrase se oye factory bi se da be ya koku ho kashu ho adwuma nso betumi akotote na ama maburu ne nipa wo nso odwumanya adwuma bi aye afrim na bra o she factory na so no ontumi anwe na fufi anto ata ofra benwa so a ene pipi aban ya Ghana mampani dada na nado danko akufu ado befa adwana tena so ese nti wasanso be na wosra ne se sa factory ofrase no onsanso meto so no mfa nko na wieye ene nso agbama ne botae ene na niso ade huro wode mabroman no nyina tumi abam na owuru a yefre no Ramos Mensa ono ne kasamafo gena mu kasama akuafo no anso so obi a osanso to kashu ibi esenti oje kasamu ede nsama hodo to yanim na anokwa se wo hwe akwan a ofa so de kofa kashu no ba utum sampa akwan na pratete kame ya se Ghana ha no ade nyankropon de amaye bia no etoto nase koko ye ne ye we yatoto nase ya to bi egu enam galamse nti yatoto nase eno chi nso foma gudi Erade asanso de amaye enam so yegunku nipa bebre na kashu nso so eno nso abai akwan ahodo ebetumi afa so akofa kashu afiri ho yetumi nya sikapudu bi afirim de abo mai ho bra no eno nso kra no ye me ye ni nku akwan no ho anokwa wo hwe akwan no so tumi sampa awro ho papa menye ni sa Kwasi brodi mbe yesa ba bi odidi firi no yidi ye pass of na ne eku ho ya eno nso ya asemo a owura Mensa Ramos ode to Ghana mampani anim na memfiri onom na afie memra Doma Central oba Doma Central free 2020 koto aba
animo answer be free sure asem so mami bisa asem mako apart from equino na the mimiti say mampani aircamp ebro campaign and they say obesan asset up board omo ebetoto omo normal say bibi say cocoa board for instance obema shoe board and so what in wasem
cashew board no no kre Ghana mampani ono ankasa ba abro me ankasa menya adaje koshia no bi oka ho asem na every bread to abawie ye de mente ho asem bia enti se sie de akuafo na ni abra waka ho asem no ya akwan ahodo na afa koko cashew no ne bo no said the bear and the born on Subako name board the Nagana Mampenin kind once a minute. Adaru Mubru Obian can once them now on one Casan so enka once them.
Yo, to asoma me oba ye nche nti ye be ma ne brama na ye ho adwuma da me bisa mom se
More
ebi
prayerful.
afo no omo akasa so ehia omo ana because se omo e de omo de srede e be ide na nkomo de no so aka wo preko se o board no nso asem no anka wo kan ye no na nka wo de no so aka wo ahwa ma ye preko but wonti ho hwa ye nto aso
Okay, and me fa we nsusu ntwem efa casual asem na ho president dema casual nkamumu ko wabro mantam ha na nse wode nsem hodo to Ghana mampani anim se ohu se enkrofo bi fra manya hodo so ba o man yi mu beto casual free ha na awraho sem a omofam nyina na se abrofi anase wona ofra manya hodo so ba man mu beto casual no obedu a se de be ya nka obetumi akọ atofo no ho na one atofo na kodi nsa wo so na ato afiri wansem no wanya ne saa ofiti prekopekwa akuafo no ho enti so okwa akuafo no ho nso a na wakoka nsem bebre e de asai akuafo no ne atofo na wo moye Ghana fo mo ha ntem enti emma kashu akuafo no nya enije ne ahoto bi ase wode kashu no ebema atofo a ofiri Ghana ha no ato enu achi obeton so a ho nsem koye bebre ne senti eno so ya asem a kashu mpanimfo a enye board a Ghana mampani nete ye ne mbom ankorankro bi na ate no wade to Ghana mampani nim se eno so wabe no wonhwe se de be ya afi ya ebe wuro mu akashu afrase a etete maako no se de course afi etwa mu no afi enkoye ne saa enti de eno so fa ho kashu asem no ho no
eno ti ne hia board no
mento aso ana menko Doma Central eno de no kra papa so board no be mu a menyi ni se kuntuna se keta se share sisie bi ne mentem ho aso bi kra be ma no ho no so
yo ti enko Doma
enti adaro me ko Doma Central se de na no se de na no Ghana fo nyina ye to santen o afimpino ni adu ni nan mu December boso me da na etoso nso ekoto abadi mrahye bedwafo ena afi Ghana mampanin nim se Urade ya adom gina ye church gina pa bato no kɔ na we ya somdwe mu abone bia nka yen na se de mpanin se bi eburu nipa ya ade wasa ye wanyina ya mense ni din ena de ono nso apoto ama na afi no onjiri se ode bebom the saint Doma Central o ya afefede bi ema nipa bi no ma ode wo ho si ho ɛko koden nante monten so bo nto ahodo kan sempa ne nsem de ma ne to Ghana fo akoma so se on san so nto aba ma Ghana mampani ya ye na Urade adom abefa be nwe atena so yi ampa sa abota ne nyina atumi ba mu nti e ba na sa no eto tiniya manyoku a ewo Doma Central akoma so se nipa na ono de ne ho si ho ebo afode se Ghana mampani His Excellency John Dramani Mahama obesan so ba bi wu a Urade adom ba bi wu yi obobo na baso enti abasobo no mu no ekoye moto bi a Ghana ha ye frɛ no okada eno obo dwa data ema nananom mpanin atitire ne anintini mu atwotwo wuro etena adwabra ne so ma wɔyɛ saa ye nsuso ede ma owura bi ye frɛ no Oliver ena ma adwuma sono ene adwumabra ne oboma kiniya manyoku na wasanso ba bio na ye ka Doma Central mrahye bedwani a no wo ho na ye frɛ no na oye Ghana hai health minister Honorable Agyemang watena bengwa no so ache papa mrahye bedwadwa wo Doma Central watena so ache papa beye mfrinhia aduonu 24 years ni obi entu ne da enti bra brante no utumi ye adwuma so na adwuma bra na etumi tu no enna ka ho a ebo na baso esenti ema ono nso so onipa ono nso be je samrahye bedwadwa e fra no Honorable Kwame Adu Jack a ogina mu ma akini amanyoku no ono nso eso na nipa ema andasa nso gina ho kansama hodo de to Ghana fo nyina akoma so se ne titire kini amanyoku no to bia nyere no ho na sede Oliver bo adwuma so na adwuma bra ne ndi obo na baso yi na ye no sa pepepe na dasa ne bi ono nso ebeyere no ho aye adwuma so no ene yakuni ne abrmponyuma de ama ekuo no ono nso so ondi enya no ndi wadawroma na weinum ne ensam kakra metasa ne sebesepa ne kuni na hahan e wo boro mantamu ha
yo nanani mo da CP na chese Oliver ne sompa o de som ye no wenya emu adodode eye okada anya no obetimi edi mpo eye business kakra edi ahwe onu ni nebusia yesi sompa eho ewo emfaso yebeda wasipi na nanimo akrepin ba for agenodua na ye twen say yebenya synergy to bring us the entertainment update. Until then, let's enjoy some spot of music.
Yo, Ras.
Yeah, my brother.
It's time to go back home. It's time to go back home.
Yes, see? With all the stinks that happiness, Zion train is coming jumping.
It's been a long time.
See.
This you know. Have to go home.
Hot a fire burn them. Red lava done them. Diarrhea run them. The wrath of God upon them.
I am your thief, yourselves on fire. You're killing people every day. Anytime you open your mouth, I feel like you're leading my people astray.
Government by family and friend, corruption never end. You tell us said you are God sent, but when we turn around the bend, you thieving with a pen. Waffy with family, and I struggle for fed. And when you come after way, like the cock on the end. What a pity when we sell our dignity as men. Politicians them attack we from the rear end. Lead we to a dead end. And the fake preacher telling I feel repent. With the money in my pocket is the mountain again. And when the gap are ever widen, fences can mend. So this question I send.
Where the money there? 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 Where the money there?
And me say where the money there?
I don't know.
Oh, at the fire bonding. Until they change their mind, the wrath of God upon them.
Through your lies and deception, wrong education, you're posing yourself one way. But when the church and the state collaborate to keep us in slavery.
And by the ballot and the bullet, they put their gun to your head. Them say you have the right to talk, but talk too loud and you dead. It's like them have a different system for the leader and the leader. Hurt or run red. So get the youth bounce rise and show them how things we run. If them can't do it, come and make we show them how we done. And we now no more room for them like them days are gone. Up your fire burner. What I mean say?
Where the money there? 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 Where the money there?
And me say where the money there?
I don't know.
Where the money oh?
I don't know.
So where the money there? Hiding in the Cayman Islands. So where the money they invested in foreign lands. So where the money they me personally I don't know. So where the money they where the money they oh. And I mean say hot a fire burn them. Red lava done them. Diarrhea on them. And the wrath of God upon them. until them change their mind. Brought up the but for people plan, brought up God. Blood of the slain will never be in vain. Never. No. We don't want to see no more people dying. Zion Yahweh. Whoa. Zion Yahweh. Whoa. Zion Yahweh. Whoa, Zion Yahweh. Yo, listen, man. My name is Ja, beloved. You can call me Kwasi back when the occasion calls for it. You are watching iCulture TV. Keep it locked.
Go. It's time.
Oh. My people are balling. Come on, yeah. Why y'all? Yeah. Zion train is coming. Jumping on the train, yeah. Zion train is coming. Oh, yeah. Zion train is coming. Jumping on the train, yeah. Zion train is coming. Watch out. In the gully when me live, me see me people them a ball. Mr. Big Man, Lord them not care. It's a pity when me see the ghetto youth to them a cry. Mr. Big Man, Lord them not care. Yeah.
All right, and just like that, it's time for the entertainment update. And for that, we cross over to what should have been Studio 2, which has right now been relocated to Synergy's car. So, Synergy, over to you, sir.
All right over here. Ras, beloved, Kumbungu. Thank you for handing over to me right here. And as you rightly said, to our viewers and listeners, it should have been Studio 2, but due to technical issues, as you all know, we are dealing with machines, so sometimes not all things that you expected it to be will happen to you just the way you wanted it. So let's take it as this, but you will just dive into the stories that we have for you today. And starting off, we'll be starting with Sarkodie in an interview. I don't know if that video is ready, but in a brief explanation to what Sarkodie said, Sarkodie was asked the question as to whether his relationship is with Shatta Wale is that cool that we can call them as friends. But in response to that, Sarkodie said to him, he doesn't see Shatta Wale as a friend. Ohun is Sarkodie, and now Shatta Wale, and for Adintia. He doesn't hide behind the camera to say certain things and come in the limelight and pretend as if nothing has happened. So if Shatta Wale could go behind the camera and say all sort of things and still come back to him and pretend everything is cool, to him, he doesn't do that kind of stuff. So that is from Sarkodie saying that honest Shatta Wale, they are not friends. He cannot label, as per his own words, he cannot label what he has between Shatta Wale as friends. Now move on. We are going to the next story, and it's about Ghana's very own, the person that we all know as Kofi Adoma Wanwani, but his name, per Ghana Kani Bibia, also is Stephen Kofi Adoma, but he's known in the industry as Kofi Adoma Wanwani. Just within this month, that was around 15th January 2025. You read this year, no. Doma Hene Osaje for Agyemang II had a local festival. Special invite went to him was saying no said yeah and the support in the fan base city you know he was called he said oh you blue ninti branana nanka fa will support if I be support it now the festival no intimi enya the numbers and the name na yenyina ye pe as Ghanaians and as Africans to celebrate or to cherish our own. But unlucky for us, you know, something happened to Kofi Adoma. If that video is ready, young question the live shot of what happened to Kofi Adoma Wani.
Again, Synergy. Unfortunately, because of the issues that we're having from Studio 2, we are not able to play the videos because the videos were supposed to be played from Video 2. I mean, from Studio 2. And
from
Studio. We do apologize to our viewers for that.
All right.
We have the stories for them,
All right, no problem. Wait time, we will post the video for those that haven't watched the video yet.
On the video on the YouTube channel and on TikTok and other platforms.
Okay, I'm back again. So wait time, we will post the video for those that haven't watched the video yet. And now also share what happened to Kofi Adoma. Was the chief was coming on a brand now in an air banner. Kofi Adoma, as we all know, one a broadcaster, he's a journalist now. Human warrior. He wanted to have a live shot of what is going on.
So no matter who you vote for, remember the children, the mothers and the babies, and think of peace, think of peace. We stand for peace, we stand for love, united as one people.
Okay, yes, we're back. Network in here rough, but still not using them. Yeah, who come up in Baba. I take what 10 years, but sounds about 10.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, Ras, can I continue?
Synergy. It's your floor. Synergy.
Spread this love all over the world and TikTok. Post for peace and post for love.
The internet connectivity is particularly terrible today. I don't know what's going on.
We want one love. We want peace.
But like the man himself said, Nasi said, take what 10 cry, he'll be back 10 times. So let's just wait for him for a few more moments while hopefully he shows up to complete the entertainment update for us. So have 10 minutes to go. You're live on iCulture TV. You're also listening to us on Radio Culture. Studio One, Texas, USA.
Seculate among the privileged and delegates. Peace for my homeland, very important. No border sign, no bloody contract, no bloody government. The umbrella and the elephant should be tolerant. Young dada preaching more love, don't be ignorant. Do you wait, Mr. Soldier? Wait, policeman and civil society. Do it for peace, do it for harmony. Let's do it for fundamental human rights. Arise, the youth of Mother Ghana. Arise, they go from the Ghana.
Fly the flag of Ghana higher. Come let me unite.
We stand for peace, we stand for love, united as one people. For better Ghana, let's find our ways. Standing for peace, you and I stand for peace. You and I stand for peace. You and I stand for peace. From the Ghana, gateway to Africa.
I'm just a much in the name what MDDA, and I'm waiting. What might be a Shiaka BDA, the one who dance the Mambo Fojina feature. Or the Sika pushing violence. Now, Miss Yasun get a cry and Yamuma and say no. Kwame pattern radio Miss Remo. I soon get some Bremo singing for peace and singing for love.
When I shake your voice, I can't know your plan. Come on, I don't know Kayato Abla. Say me, I went, Obaka no Kakitan,
All right, looks like we have Synergy back. Synergy, we have about 8 minutes to wrap up, please.
Okay. All right. Let me continue. Networking area viewers move on challenges never, but we will still try to come back again and give you all the updates about my with me on how things are going. Now to continue with Kofi Adoma issue, it happened January 15th, 2025. Yeah. at a grand by or Sajafo Nana Agyemang Bedu the second or Mahene was having this local festival or mass special invite to Kofi Adoma to come. None the numbers, any followers and so on, on family crazy the event, and fair for people to know, say, yes, Africa, we have our own and we still cherish our culture. But unfortunately for Kofi Adoma, that very day, and Kasano, whilst I him for no air bar, you'll be moving back a crack. There is this chief guard. Yeah, no mukro too, but the actual no, what is inside no is not classified as the. Yeah, to continue, what is inside is not classified as the normal bullet by a local dialect. And your friend is a to draw, and that's said him for by a 222. No, unfortunately for Kofi Adoma, that shot went directly to Kofi Adoma's eye. And as I'm talking to you right now, and as we are speaking right now, right after that day, Kofi Adoma had no go Dubai to go and have a look at it, but by the reports we are getting, they say one side of the eye, she say there, I say, of which it happened to be the right side, because not original, the left side of Chief Guard, that is our bravo, no on the right side and the left side. Into definitely the shot went into Kofi Adoma, the right eye. The wife, Abba Bontin, Abba Bekasa, concerning this issue, and Magra Heb, or not she a YouTuber, who was also an eyewitness to the incidents, and right at that very day, even though we've had a back and forth issue with people saying, say, Kofi Adoma, I see, Kofi Adoma, I see, even to the point that they are trying to say,
Mazada mata lokaci ya kai da ta musaya kan kwanciyar hankali mu so juna yadda ya kamata mu duka guda ne ya muke damuwa mu je kusa da juna
Still waiting for the man Synergy. We still have 5 minutes to wrap up the show. Hopefully he's able to come back before we have to wrap up the show.
Let's free our minds.
Meantime, enjoy the music.
See the children got to survive and live happily after. Oh no, whether MPP, whether NDC, we are one. Let's put this country first. Cause we are one people. Oh no, yeah, election time, no mean to do up. So better drop the guns. Vote for your party with peace and love, but no war.
Radio culture. Transmitting online. Radio culture. Radio culture.
Yes, we're live on Radio Culture, which is live on www.ghnewsnow.com. It's also live on moredanghana.com. We're live on MyTuner Radio and multiple other platforms. We are also visible on all social media platforms, especially YouTube and Facebook. We are also, of course, live on iCulture TV. Looks like we have Synergy back, but it also looks like we only have 3 minutes left. And still looks like we're having challenges with that already. So let me just wrap up the show. Synergy will be back next week. Hopefully by that time we would have sorted out the issues in Studio 2, and he will be in his seat to bring you the entertainment update at that time. Until that time, let me take this opportunity to thank you very much for joining us for these past 2 hours as we brought you our weekend live stream. Remember, we are live every Saturday at 4 p.m. GMT, 10 a.m. CST. Every Saturday, we are live. And every Saturday, we bring you quality interviews. We bring you great editorials and reviews. And of course, we also bring you the reports from across Ghana from our correspondents. At the tail end of the show, we bring you the entertainment or the showbiz update. And we are also going to be bringing you a new segment called Elimah Formula, which is dedicated to females only, strictly females only. Everything concerning females. I'm just waiting to see for myself what appears on Elimah Formula. In the meantime, my name is Kwasi Esonbako. Thank you very much for checking in with us for today's show. And we will be back next week. Goodbye.